So I printed most of the things that were here on the thumb drive. There was some kind of other spool holder or something with a bunch of random pieces. I didn't print that, but for the most part, we got pretty good prints and overall feeling for how this printer prints, quality and its capabilities. So let's start with this razor holder handle scraper thing. This is WonderMaker, and I don't know if you guys can tell, the quality of this print is beautiful. So all the layers are sitting very nice. Top layers are pretty good. Just a beautiful execution on the layers, and everything looks great. And this basically comes in two pieces, where normally it's a kit, which wasn't included here, is you get a razor that you put in here, two little screws, and then you put this on top to lock the razor in, and then you screw this piece down here. So this print turned out excellent. So here we have some kind of brush alignment tool. I guess whenever you put this little brush on, you can align it here perfectly with this thing. It was a little bit stringy, and the reason for that is I added some heat, as it did print vertically, and I didn't want it to pop off because it's so small, and it did string up a bit, but they're pretty thin and can be easily rubbed off, so not a big deal, but overall looks okay. So the thing I really want to show you guys is this benchmark print, and it's quite large. We did warp a bit as it was starting to unstick, and this is the only issue I kind of had for some reason, mostly in the beginning. I did wash the blade, and that made it so much better, but I did have to get closer to it and run it hotter for it to stick. Not technically the printer's fault in any way, but the build plate might have been a bit oily from the beginning. But yeah, if we look at the bottom, it's beautiful. PEI sheet makes a nice texture. We have the lettering here, so this is in black PLA, you can see it very well. The letters look pretty good. This was printed very quickly, and that's one thing I want to mention, is that all these prints that came with the printer are just sliced way too fast. So I had to run it in silent mode, which kind of toned it down a bit, and I did have to raise the temperature to 220, as sometimes it felt like 215 wasn't enough. And so this thing was printed at 220 temperature, and it was boogieing along. Yeah, we can see even with that, we have pretty good results here. So here we have the overhang on this side, and then we can see the overhangs like this, which honestly turned out really good. And we just used the cooling fan and not the external fan, as I was trying to avoid that because it would cool the bed down too fast since I was having some sticking issues. But yeah, with that said, we can see here on the inside, if you guys hopefully can see, excellent print quality. I mean, all of the bridges, all of the pins, all of the circles, and obviously you can measure these to see how accurate they are. All of the lettering, I mean, it just looks immaculate. Like extremely good results. And this is basically proof that this printer has the capability to produce extremely nice prints. Speaking of benchmarking, this was also included, and it's just like this large calibration sort of device which comes in 2 pieces, and this thing printed out very well. It didn't warp. It stuck to the bed. I did get a little closer because I was nervous that it might pop off, so it does have a small elephant foot, but as far as the print itself, it looks really good. So we have the 2 pieces, and we have a square and a circle, which, by the way, the circle here you guys can see is a little bit rough looking, and I think it's because it was too hot again, because when it does circles it slows down and becomes too hot. And so what we're going to do is we're going to test the tolerances from this cube. And so 0.5 would be, you know, the most, I guess, play in the tolerance. And then we got 0.45, still pretty loose. 0.4, 0.35, starting to get a little tighter. 0.3, starting to feel pretty good, but still you'd want it tighter. So this right here feels actually great. It's got just a little bit of play. And then you got the 0.2, which is basically perfect, and it does go in there. It's not as smooth, but it still goes in, and there's no play at all basically. So anything less than 0.2 would probably be too tight if you were going to print 2 pieces. You wouldn't want to scale it less than that in variation. And same thing for the circle. The 0.5 is very loose, still pretty loose, all the way to 0.3, starting to get tighter. 0.25, starting to get really tight, but still loose enough to go in and out. And then we got 0.2, which is again perfect. So both ends on the 0.2 are perfect, so it's very well calibrated. So yeah, that just kind of, you know, shows you the tolerances and the printer's capabilities of 0.2 being a great tolerance for printing something around this size. So the other print we got here is pretty large, and this is a spool holder, so you just put the spool in here, and this is actually a nut or a bolt, I guess, and it just printed out all in one go. Actually, there's 2 nuts. I already forgot how this thing looks like. So there's 2 nuts, and then this cylinder with threads in it, and it just goes between here, and this just printed out just like that with these sitting next to it. I did run out of this blue and just threw the peach at it, which looks pretty good, but we do have a little bit of a gap here when we resumed, but there is no gap on the other side. And also, for some odd reason over here, we have some kind of artifacting there and a little bit of droopage for whatever reason on both sides, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, other than that, the bottom looks great, and yeah, everything looks pretty good. Again, I ran this thing a little hotter as I was worried because it felt like it was printing sometimes really quick. So because these are the models that come with the printer, you kind of just printing them at, you know, whatever they set it up at. So I wish they would have slowed it down a bit. That would have made the 215 temperature perfect. And I wish they put the bed a little bit hotter. I think it was 55, but it needed to be at least 60. And that would have been probably a much better result, and also obviously slowed the thing down because it was just going crazy. I know a lot of people like things going fast, but once you get everything tuned in, you know, everything's sticking and holding and looking great, then you can start, you know, ramping up the speed and experimenting with that. But I feel like for the first prints, they should not, or at least the ones included, be that quick. And so that leaves us with 2 more prints, and they're going to be the multicolor ones. Unfortunately, we weren't able to do more. We do have a little pile over there. Maybe you guys can see. That's all we pretty much got out of the waste out of these 2 prints. So not too much waste, of course, not too much printing. But we have this print here, which this piece separated. I'm not sure if it's supposed to separate. Maybe it is. Look at that. It just breaks off. All right, well, that's pretty cool. So yeah, each color you guys can see is mixed with another one. So this one was orange with blue on the outside. And again, very good job. Very nice separation. Black with gray looks great, and again black with gray but the other way, and here we have orange with blue the other way. Yeah, and we had a very small purge block tower, as this is pretty low profile. Yeah, all of our colors are there also. So this is enough to see that the printer is definitely capable of colors. There was no problems with changing filaments in between. Obviously, it adds time to everything. One thing you got to consider, if you're going to do a lot of color printing and it's going to be tall, there's going to be a lot of time waste changing between the filaments, and a lot more of those. So keep that in mind. Now, what it is good at, if you wanted to do a bunch of them on the plate all at once, makes more sense because every time a color's changed, there's multiple models being printed. So for multiple models, this kind of setup makes sense for color printing. But for, you know, something tall and just small maybe, and just one piece, could be quite extensive waste and time for that. So in any case, we do have this bench here with its tower. So this one here is not complicatedly colored, as they chose to include this kind of file, and we can see a branding there of the WonderMaker But we just have the orange, and then it turns to this peach. Then we have black, and then we have gold on the very top. So nothing too fancy here and too complicated, but it is different colors and it automatically changes. And then this is what our tower looks like, pretty good. And it stuck. Also guys, whenever I was printing that spool holder and it needed to change color, that was seamless, as the printer just paused and said it was running out, and so I just had to unload it and stick a new one in and then continue it. So yeah, and it continued pretty well. There's a little gap there. I'm guessing it probably didn't capture one of the layers or part of it or something like that, but in any case you can obviously resume. And I'm guessing maybe like on some you can just continue printing with another color if one runs out, but that's all in the slicer and slicing. So as far as the printer is concerned, overall it did a great job. I did have a little bit of an issue in the beginning, especially with sticking, and I was a little confused why it was printing so fast and not hot enough, but that has to do with the files provided and how they were sliced. The mechanisms for the color changing, the module, the separator there, they all worked flawlessly, and there was no issues of clogging or not being able to feed the filament, except for whenever I put old filament in there that I had and it cracked inside and I had to remove that, but you know, that's just because of the old filament. And so what do I think about this thing overall? I think it's actually a very nice package. I love the large build size. 300 by 300 and 300 up is a nice volume. And it's not too large. It's quite compact. You guys can see how big the bed is compared to the frame. So it's, you know, very well engineered not to be bulky. Pretty compact considering it has its color changing here on the side. And overall very well executed with all metal build. One thing that really surprised me is how quiet it is. And that was a pleasant surprise. Like right now it's idling. There's a fan running underneath, but it's quite toned down. But overall it's on the quieter side than what I've experienced from others. We do get the Core XY, which is great for fast printing and great precision without having too much ringing in your print. I love this light, and by the way I forgot to turn it on. We were dark this whole time, as it shines just at the right spot where you can see the print. The nozzle gets really hot at 300°C, so you can print pretty much any filaments that are high temperature. Also the bed gets pretty hot, and if you get the optional enclosure you can, you know, keep that heat in. All of your basic functions like auto leveling and all that, it's great and really simple to use. You don't really have to know much. You just click print, and as long as your file is sliced correctly, everything is automatic from there. So you can get also a camera, which by the way you can monitor from an app while you're away. It's called WonderMaker if you want to download it. And I was hoping actually I could print from here, but this is just more like controlling the printer. If I click on printers, we can see it's there. I added it, and there we can have a play button there, and that's going to be for the camera if you have one optionally installed, so you can monitor while you're away. And we can control it here from preheating, moving it around, the temperatures, fans, things like that. So yeah, not a super detailed app, but it does give you the view option with the camera and also basic controls and just monitoring. So yeah, overall a solid printer, does everything right. The touchscreen here is nice, great resolution. It's actually pointed up a bit, so when you stand next to it, you can actually see it pretty well. It's not flat, it's angled up. Connecting to Wi-Fi was seamless, and just the whole setup was seamless. We do have this USB port here with the stick that was included. The large axial fan can be controlled separately here on the screen or automatically work with the slice, and you can enable it or disable it in the settings. The whole multicolor module here that's built on the side is quite unique. I really like this because it stays with the printer. It's not a separate thing that you have to keep on top or to the side, and it's quite compact considering what it is. There is quite a few tubes running up, but there seems to be no issue with, you know, just pulling filament in and out, and changing it works flawlessly. So the WonderMaker ZR does have quite a bit of competition, and overall I think SaintSmart did a very good job on this printer. It seems to just work. As long as everything is set up correctly, it feels like it will work, and overall feels like a higher quality product here compared to other brands that try to compete in the lower market. But the ZR here seems to be a good value proposition if you can get it for, you know, a reasonably good price. For everything you get, it is quite a machine. And in the future I hope they will implement printer profiles for other slicers that I could be using on the Mac, as having just Windows might not be an option for everybody. Make sure you check that before you get one of these. And I love using it overall, as it's simple and not overly complicated like some. If you guys are interested in this thing, I'm gonna have some links, check it out. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.